Hello, and welcome to Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. But instead of fixing his house, we try and fix his familiar relationship.
What? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lads Podcast. I am Taser2. I am brought here with Jamie and Rylan, my brother, who is insane clinically. But he's got an interesting story for us today, as does Jamie and myself, as we do with every episode of the Lads. Anyway, let's get started with our guest, of course. Not putting you on the spot, except we certainly are.
Spotlight
Alright.
sound effect.
So my story today is an article that I had read on the Kansas City Star. So apparently, a mechanic in Michigan had finished doing an oil change on a four-speed manual Jeep Gladiator. And when he went to move the car, he forgot to put his foot on the clutch. So therefore, it lurched forward and crushed one of his fellow mechanics between the Jeep and the cabinet, basically severing him in half. Now, the owner of the Jeep is being sued because, according to the family's lawyer, you are responsible for your car at all times, no matter who you hand the keys to.
Very interesting story to start off with.
Yes. Well, I would like to say that is the dumbest lawsuit I thought I ever heard next to McDonald's hot coffee. I don't think that if someone has your car and they do something dumb with it, that you should be responsible for it.
That is absolutely
I think to some extent, because then again, if you're saying, oh, you give someone a car to like do something illegal in, and they do something illegal in it and get caught, you just help them commit a crime.
Yeah, that is a crime.
So in some respects, I understand it. In other respects, the logical one, I do not.
Yeah, it is quite ridiculous how it wasn't planned. It was clearly an accident. This is not malicious intent. This is you handed your car to a mechanic to fix the car. You not handed the car to the mechanic to kill someone.
That's why there's paperwork in shops that specifically say, oh, now we're liable for your car. So I don't understand how a lawyer could argue this when there's like literally like a paper trail of saying that it's not.
Unless it's like the shadiest shop in existence.
Right. It was a dealership. It was
Right.
a Jeep dealership. So I would hope that their shop isn't that shady.
Yeah. So a very simple story, but a very grim one to start off with. We do not have any lawyers here that could
I don't know
that
law
could
stuff.
explain it with law terms, but I think we understand that
Silly lawsuit.
that is quite a silly lawsuit. Yeah. Whew.
Honestly, they could have just sued the shop for negligence, which would be easier because they handed the keys to someone who did not know how to drive a manual vehicle.
Yeah, that would have been a lawsuit you
That-
possibly win.
Yeah, you could win that.
Yeah,
I could
that's
see that.
reasonable. I would do
You would do that.
I would do that.
You would do
If
that?
in this position, I would do that.
Yeah, you would sue?
I would sue the mechanic, yeah.
Yeah, the
Or
dealership?
the dealership, yeah. But not the owner of the Jeep. That's silly.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
they didn't buy a Jeep.
Yeah, that is their first mistake, buying a Jeep. Well, yeah, I would not sue the owner of the Jeep at all. Definitely the dealership for negligence, though. I feel like that could be a case that could easily win. Speaking of easily winning, the Colorado State Fair happened last week.
Oh no.
Good transition, by the way.
Yeah, except I can't talk. I just fumbled over that word so badly.
Me too. You're edited.
No, I'm not. Everyone gets to see my failure in all its glory.
Listen. Oh, I went to a gas station. They only had 4 pumps. I was going to put $15 on pump 3. And I said $3 on 15. And the lady looked at me very confused. So literally today has been nothing but just fumbling over my own words.
Yeah, that's about right. So, right. The the Colorado State Fair just happened, and they have a fine arts competition. This was last week. And Jason Allen took first place for his space opera theater. I am gonna throw up a picture on screen,
Bam, picture sound.
but I did print out the picture. The colors are a little weird because I'm using printer paper, because we ain't got the budget for photo paper. Except we do. I just didn't feel like I have photo paper. I just didn't feel like getting it and wasting all the ink and what have you.
Damn, Leonardo da Vinci. All right. God damn. That's a very nice
I have
picture.
seen this picture. Now here, I'm sure Taylor's about to talk about why this is such an interesting picture.
I think I know why
Yes.
too. I think I heard something about the story.
Right. So the reason it's so interesting is because while Jason Allen is the person who made it, it was made in collaboration with an AI. Specifically, the name of the AI was Midgard. Why can't Midjourney, not Midgard. Midgard's
Midgard is the Norse name for
the-
Earth.
Yeah, the Norse name for Earth. Midgard would be pretty cool.
That would-
But no, it was made by an AI created by Midjourney, which is an independent AI research group. You can use their AI on their Discord server. They made a Discord bot for it. You can also access their web app, but that requires a purchase of their subscription, as all good companies do. But it is one of those things you put in a prompt and it makes an image. Now, Jason is a writer. He's a creative writer. So he writes this thing for the piece and it generates the piece. And he says that AI art is art and there's a lot of proponents to that. Just what makes that so interesting is it won first place in the digital arts category for the fine arts competition. And the judges, they think it's all kosher. They're like, this falls in the rules of digital art, so he's allowed to win. And Jason does say it is real art. He put the work in. He says he put over 80 hours of work into the piece. He upscaled the image, edited the image, because, you know, AIs, they're not
they
perfect.
create odd
Right.
pixels.
And then he wrote the prompt, of course, for the AI to use. He, did only over 900 iterations, I believe he said, of this image. So it was truly a lot of work. And that's the long and short of it. The interesting thing is I like to compare this to the controversial artist of yesteryear, let's call it. You got like Jackson Pollock, Marshall Duchamp,
No idea.
however you say it, France.
Oh, France. Oh no.
A French guy. He if you don't know Marcel Duchamp, I'm saying Duchamp.
It works.
I'm going with it. He had these pieces called ready-mades, and it was just junk he found, and just kind of put it there. Like he had like a bicycle wheel on, and it was like on this. I think it was on an easel. And it was just kind of there. It was like the point of this is to like, it's supposed to be unremarkable.
I mean, yeah, succeeds, I guess.
And people say that's lazy or whatever. I think he probably put some sort of thought into it, and there is something strange about just a bicycle wheel being there, and just like it's entertaining. It does what art's supposed to do. And then Jackson Pollock, of course, all of his paintings are like all over the place. They're like on floors, ceilings, whatever. Yeah, really a fan of that art style that just like lays on the paint so thick that you can see like the individual brush strokes. Using things that aren't brushes, like sticks, glass, like knives, just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, but like you see a Jackson Pollock painting and you're like, wow, that's art.
That have
Yeah, and yeah, people said he was just a messy like toddler person back then, but now he's like, a renowned artist.
Yeah.
So I think AI is going in that very much the same way, where people will use AI to assist human imagination rather than saying, "Oh, an AI made it." It's just a cop out.
I'm looking at this Marcel Duchamp guy or Duchamp.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of his pieces is literally what looks like a urinal he ripped off of a wall. And I would say that's more effort than like basically the equivalent of a CRT television.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Because he had to take this from somewhere. He had to go somewhere and take this from he
Some
went
company-
into
some store be like, where my urinal go? You can't have shit in Detroit. Truly.
Yeah.
can't have shit in fuck.
France.
I didn't mean to curse. I'm sorry.
Just say France.
Blainville, Crevon, France.
French people.
He died in Neuilly-sur-Seine.
Place name France.
Something in French.
Oh, by the way, he called this art piece
Fountain. I think you're talking about I don't think that's actually a urinal, and I don't think that's like a ready-made.
Bro, what else could it fucking be?
It's a painting, I believe, if I remember correctly.
This one. And you should put a.
Oh. Yeah, what
I
was
haven't
I
seen
looking
it.
at then?
It-
Yeah, that is just a urinal. Okay.
Yep, that's a urinal.
Yeah, I don't know what I was looking at then. Maybe I was looking at an old photograph and I go, that's a painting.
It almost looks like, I think the way it's signed, it gives it like a quality. Wait.
Are you
It
talking
looks-
about
The way he does his signature.
No, that's not the original one because the original one was destroyed because of course.
Right.
And yeah, are you talking about this one? This photo?
Yeah, it was a photo. I'm just dumb, I guess. Look, I made this like half an hour ago. I know like very little about Michael Duke or Michael Marcel
I
Duchamp.
want to see that. I want to see his words pointed out.
Michael,
can
you
pronounce
cannot
it.
leave me, Michael.
It's on the second paragraph, like the
Oh,
third.
I'd
to
read that
last
as Duchamp.
Duchamp,
Maybe Duchamp. Duchamp.
but France.
Marcel. Okay. Google Translate.
Mamma
Type in
mia.
Duchamp and have it set as French.
And see how it says it.
Yeah.
Okay, the
While I'm
arbiter of
doing-
truth, Google Translate.
While I'm doing that, I do have things to say that's more interesting than I thought.
Oh, sure. So, back to what I was saying about the imaginative process of a human. That's actually the whole point of Midjourney as a company. They want to expand. They want to use AI to expand how we can imagine things. Kind of give yourself. It's almost like giving yourself another angle without there being like 60 people in a room. And of course, I do have this big old chart here explaining the subscription process of Midjourney, which is it speaks to the industrialization of art.
Yeah.
Because I bet there's plenty of things in the Colorado State Fair. I just think that the pricing structure of Midjourney, and the whole point of Midjourney is to kind of boost human, like, imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of as an assistant to your imagination. So give yourself a different perspective, a different view on things. And just the whole pricing structure of it is very, very, very industrialized, which I bet at the Colorado State Fair there is a lot of industrialized art.
Mhm.
You know, people mass producing pieces. You know, instead of taking, you know, months on a piece, you're taking 2 weeks because it's just following some formula and whatever. And I think in a way it'll be really ironic if people using this actually becomes the real artist, and then everything else is just AI generated. And then it's like AI generated with humans, like in the future
So
somewhere.
you're saying like AI becomes a standard and you throw humans into the mix?
Yeah, and like humans that intervene are like different,
Instead
I
of
get what you mean.
handmade, it's just gonna be human touched.
human touch.
And
No,
like,
really.
like just a person goes down the line, and that's like plus
That's
$10.
Exactly. And well, with the way art is super industrialized now, I'm telling you, like people make a legitimate business just mass producing art. Doesn't even have to be good. Doesn't even have to like have any like thought or reason behind it. It's just like, oh, we followed whatever structure, and this is what came up. You know, putting the same painting in like 50 different color schemes, digitally changing it.
You're talking NFTs. That's how NFTs are generated.
Ooh, that-
Ooh, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, that reminds me of something. Is it okay if I tell you a second story?
Sure, go
Sure.
ahead.
All right.
Our run time's not long enough.
So there's this guy. What's his name? Oh, jeez, hold on. Let me pull up the thing.
Are you talking about the metaverse thing?
I sure am. So you know how they wanted to make an NFT game.
Right.
Well, the man making it is named Mikhail Kozar, and he said, with cheap labor of a development country, you could use people in the Philippines as NPCs. Which, if you really break it down to its bare meaning, he basically says poor people could be NPCs for his NFT game.
That is. You know what that reminds me of? Ready Player One, when they have like the company that's like
I haven't
playing
seen the movie, so I'll just nod and agree.
Well, yeah, or if you read the book.
I haven't read the book.
Okay. So Ready Player One, they would have like companies who would like play this game because you can earn. Because basically, this guy made this game. It's a VR game, and there were like secrets in it, and if you found all the secrets, you would get like money.
Okay.
So there would be like these blocks, like companies who would like pay people to like find the stuff in the game, and there were other ways to make money. You can like transfer your money, like money in the real world is like also money in the VR world.
Mhm.
What was it called in Ready Player One? Do you remember? It's been so long since I've watched it.
Dude, I don't even remember anything about that movie. I don't even remember what happened. I just remember going, yeah, that was a movie, and going to sleep.
Okay, well, I remember because it's cyberpunk.
Of course. I remember because of that one Doctor Who reference that they had in like one frame.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what it reminds me of, just like the giant company, just like employing people to play this game.
Here's the thing about Ready Player One. Couldn't they have just gone, no, and then just not giving them the money? Therefore, you would just lose like the entire plot of the movie, and it'd be done.
Just be like, I don't feel like it.
Not to you, Mr. Big
Homie's
Company
dead.
Man.
Homie's dead. They can't even like
Yeah, like
solve. Like there's no one like. There's like one person managing it. There's like some people managing his estate. It's not a guy. Like the guy's dead. It's part of his will. They can't just say no.
yeah, like literally, like I find a lot of movies are like that. Like if that one girl who was in Free Guy, if she got hit by a truck in real life, the movie would have never happened.
Yeah.
If she just
Well,
got
you could say that with any main character in any movie ever.
Yeah.
if she just got absolutely decimated by a Freightliner. Like,
Maybe would've ended.
You
turn
could just
to Jello shots.
If Marty
You could-
McFly had jumped off the skyscraper and the DeLorean hadn't been there, movie over.
yeah,
Like, same logic.
You could say that with anything.
Yeah.
You could just say if main character got hit by truck and died, movie over. Like there's
Not
no
every movie. Doctor Strange was in a car accident, and there was still a movie.
That's true. So was
So if he got hit by a truck twice,
Twice, yeah.
if he flew out the windshield of his Lamborghini again,
Then movie over.
dude, like I remember that scene where the CGI like was like supposed to be the interior crumpling and like just the gauge dial goes through his hand.
Yeah, his hand's just like it eats his hand.
Yeah, it
it
just, like,
literally
comes
does
here.
eating. Is like.
Which in no way it would deform like that. It would just be knocked back into the dash.
Yeah.
So anyway, poor people NPCs.
Mhm.
That's the most dystopian thing I've ever heard.
A lot of people are just like making fun of him for it, so I really hope it never comes to fruition. But apparently he's a scholar, so he has a lot of money. He calls himself a scholar. I just call him an idiot.
I feel like he's gonna be like even more evil Mark Zuckerberg.
He's gonna be more evil than Dr. Evil. Which Dr. Evil?
Dr. Evil is the least
Yeah,
evil
he's not
villain
very
in any
evil.
movie.
He just wanted sharks with lasers on.
All I'm asking
Oh.
for is some sharks with freaking laser beams at the top of his head.
Yeah.
Anyway. How many movie references can we pack into this podcast?
Don't worry, my topic's still coming up.
Right.
Family.
Bam. Are you just gonna start saying movie references now?
No, I am your father. Come on, more. I'll be back. More.
Anyway, so
Look
So-
at this photo.
I am inevitable. Okay, let's get moving.
All right. So what's your?
Actually, I wanted to touch on the AI story for
Oh
a bit.
yeah, that's where we were. That's what happened.
Right.
Right.
Because at first I thought what it was going to be was a man just gave a prompt to an AI, submitted that, but he actually edited the thing, put it together, went through like what you said, 900 revisions. of
yeah,
this
so
one photo.
I'm assuming that means at minimum he
Mhm.
hit refresh on the AI, you know?
Yeah. See, that's what makes it that's what makes it different from just if he had just like submitted thing. That at first I was going to be like, yeah, this might be a weird thing to have submitted to an art competition. But the fact that he actually went through and edited the photos and actually did put in work to make them, it does make the AI more of a tool than a cop out.
Right.
Yeah, but
Like-
I think eventually it's gonna get to the point where it is.
Computer will going to be. is
I think
eventually
you
going
could
to be
use
good
it both. I think you could use it in both ways.
Mhm.
You can either use it as a tool to help you, or you can use it as a cop out.
Right. Because currently it's not quite at that point yet. It's like you said, it still had to be revised. It doesn't generate high quality images yet.
Right. And I'm gonna keep calling it Midgard now because I messed it up once. Midjourney. What Midjourney is like, they have an upscale feature because when you know your AI generates an image, it's usually like lower quality.
Right.
So they have an upscaling feature. They'll upscale it a bunch, so it actually comes out pretty sharp, so that it becomes something you can edit into an image.
Right.
That's actually good.
There's still a level of like abstractness to it though.
Right.
The AI is horrible at like generating faces, even with all that upscaling. You can get like, oh, that's where a head should be, but there's no eyes on it. There's no nose.
Yeah. The facial features might be missing.
Yeah. So it's currently it is at a point where it's best used as a tool, but I do imagine eventually you will be able to give it a prompt and it can just do an entire image perfectly and stuff like that. And that's going to be
900 iterations.
Yeah.
It can probably read your mind too with the
exactly
the
like
Elon Musk
the
Neuralink.
chip.
Yeah.
Neuralink, yeah. But yeah, eventually we are going to get to that point where it's like, what what's the benefit of human intervention in art? Like, we were talking earlier. Like, when do we get to that point where it's like human touching, like working on art is out of the ordinary?
I don't think it's. I think it's closer than you think.
I agree.
I think within the next 10 years.
I definitely agree because with how quickly, like, I remember first seeing like YouTubers talking about AI generated art like 2 years ago, and at that point it was still really not great.
Yeah, it
stuff.
wasn't good. A little underground.
Right, and now here we are, only like 2 years later, and we can talk about like images like that one.
Right. And like, if you've seen this image, I know the one I printed out isn't the best, but it's truly a really incredible image.
Mhm.
Like, I sit there and I can look at this image and be like, there's a world beyond that little swirling vortex in the middle there. There's something going on there.
Yeah, and that's just 2 years of advancement. So I definitely agree. Like 10 years from now, we'll get to that point where you can just like throw in a prompt and there's the whole piece. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. It's interesting how fast that's developing.
Now here's a question: is it going to be used to fake art?
That is a question I've heard brought up, like replicating pre-existing art.
Like whoever made the freaking Campbell soup painting, he did freaking drugs all the time. What's his name?
I don't know.
Chef Boyardee. Like,
Oh,
no.
are you talking about the chef himself?
The
Or do you
chef
mean-
Campbell's soup painting.
Yeah, it's
I don't
like
know who made
it's
that.
missing. It's on the FBI's list of.
Oh, so you're saying someone could generate it with AI and be like, "Here's the original."
yeah.
Oh, that is a question I've heard brought up. How would you verify an original?
Andy Warhol?
versus-
Yes.
How would you
Okay.
verify like an original versus an AI generated copy of the, basically of the thing? Like, how would you determine which is which?
Yeah, so it's just 32 Campbell's soup cans. I mean, it's good. They're really
I
good,
think
and they're
there's
like,
a couple of.
or
them.
were they color pencil?
I think they're.
Screen printing. Interesting. Synthetic polymer paint on canvas.
It's on the FBI website. I think there's like a couple of them missing.
Yeah, because there were 32. So
Yeah.
some of them are missing. That's interesting.
Hold on. Let me go
Art's
to
weird, man.
Yeah.
the official FBI Twitter here.
On Twitter.
On Twitter.
Are they still like, we're still looking for those cans?
This was a couple years ago.
Anybody has a can of soup?
Give canned soup.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Hit me up in the DMs.
So it is the tomato soup can, the chicken noodle soup can, the green pea soup can, and the vegetable made with beef stock can. They were stolen from Missouri Springfield Art Museum in 2016.
And they're still missing.
They're still missing.
Are they actual soup cans or are they painted?
They're paintings.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Synthetic
if
polymer.
they were actual soup cans, soup, they've probably been eaten.
Yeah. Synthetic polymer
and
on the canvas.
the onion soup and the black bean soup.
If anyone watching has information on the painted soup cans,
Yeah, if anyone has information on Andy Warhol's soup cans, the FBI would like to speak to you.
that was the sentence.
So 7 of them.
There are 7 soup can paintings.
Missing
missing.
soup cans.
The
So,
FBI wants to know where
so
they
it's
are.
not 32 soup cans, it's 25 soup cans.
So what I'm saying is people can make a new print of those missing soup cans because there's pictures of them,
Right.
right? Like before they were stolen, right? And you can print it off and you go, hey, look, I found one of the soup cans, and the reward is. Let me see.
A lot, probably.
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. How would the FBI verify that you're handing the original?
$500,000 each.
Oh, per soup can?
Per soup can.
You hear that? There is, what's that? $3.5 million worth of missing soup.
out there.
Painted
My-
soup, not even actual soup.
My slick green pea soup.
It's $500,000. Man. So yeah, so imagine an AI can like generate that perfectly, and then you send that information to a robot that can paint the soup can.
Like actually paint.
Like actually paint.
Yeah.
Recreate the brush strokes.
Right. Yeah. Stroke
That's
by stroke.
Interesting.
Although I would think you would have to get.
They'd be able to date the paint on that. I think.
They would be able to date the paint on
You
it.
can bio paint.
True, but
Yeah, I was about to say you can always buy old paint.
True.
So when were these painted? 19.
They could probably run date on the canvas too,
Yeah.
maybe.
It would be interesting though.
Yeah.
I could probably buy 1970s paint, or you could
Don't always lead.
you could create a paint that would contain the same ingredients.
Yeah, well, it would be carbon dating, so it's all
Carbon
bit-
dating's only accurate to what, 50 years or
Yeah,
so?
yeah,
It's not like
or not
date
carbon dating. It
accurate.
would be yeah, they'll probably use carbon dating collaboration with like a DC mass spectrometer, so they could like tell like what
Mhm.
ingredients were in the paint.
I think they run like DNA analysis on it, see if Andy Warhol touched it.
Maybe.
If DNA even persists that long, I don't know.
I don't know how you would figure that out. Like I'm not a
Mhm.
forensics person.
Exactly. So that's like the thing. Eventually, technology will get good enough where that situation is possible.
Right.
What do we do about it?
What happens when someone recreates the Campbell's soup cans?
That's scary to think about.
Oh shit! Oh, there you go. Dexter's vintage.
Dexter's Laboratory?
No, Dexter's ballpoint embroidery.
I
So-
don't think that's synthetic polymer.
No, but I'm just saying you can buy old paint.
Like it's possible.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible if you wanted to recreate
the
the Campbell's soup
1970s.
cans and reclaim that $3.5 million.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could. In this world, this crazy world that we have going on.
I think I just got a new way to pay off student loans.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Jamie,
Yeah.
what story have you brought for us today?
Not so much a story as me gushing over my new favorite show.
Oh, go ahead.
So I guess we've not really talked about my obsession with Doctor Who on here. For those who don't know, I love Doctor Who. However, Taylor looked as though he was about to say that's an understatement.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. Jamie's favorite show ever.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
for the past like 7 to 8 years, my favorite show is Doctor Who. However, I recently found a wonderful show on the Disney Channel
On the Disney Channel.
called The Owl House.
I can't say I'm aware of it, like I know the title. I
Mhm.
just have no idea what it
It
is.
is such a good show. You need to watch it. And I'm saying that like we need to watch it. It is so good. But I don't mean to gush about it because it's just such a good show. I mean to gush about it because it handles queer representation so incredibly well. That's probably the reason why it's my favorite show at the moment, is because it treats the characters like so much. Queer representation in modern media is just like a background character might like be in a gay relationship or something like that. But in the Owl House, the main characters are all queer, and it's not like in such a background tone, or it's not like in such a way that everyone's like, "Oh, you're gay? Interesting," or something. It's like a very normalized setting, which a lot of media just doesn't quite accurately depict, and it's just interesting to see like a show, especially on like Disney, like just having such a very like normalized perception of queer characters. It's very nice to see that.
I mean, Disney is always on the forefront of taking positions on certain issues and rendering them into whatever film.
Right.
Probably trying to make up for their past.
Yeah.
Probably, yes. However,
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
I think
I will
will
open-
you
I will
get will you
definitely
get
trash
killed
Disney.
by the Disney government?
I would
The
gladly.
Disney shadow government.
I would gladly trash Disney.
That
because
Winnie the Pooh.
Which Winnie the Pooh? The Winnie the Pooh that lives in China, or the Winnie the Pooh.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Both.
Winnie the Pooh will personally come to your house and he'll be like, if you don't have any honey, you're going to be made into honey. And then he'll make you into honey. Anyway, so I think that I do appreciate the normalized setting
Mhm.
as opposed to like the big like look at me, I'm queer.
Yeah.
You know?
And even better is that like not only are the main characters themselves queer, because like I said, in most media you get a single side character who might be referenced to be queer in like a tweet or something, not even in the show. But in this show, not even are the characters queer, like the cast, the creator of the show, they're all like queer creators and such. It's just nice to see a show like that just in the public eye. It's in a way that just isn't seen much in any other shows.
What
Yeah,
you're
right.
saying is the show is very gay.
In a way, there's no like cool. It is very gay, but not in any way that's the main plot of the movie or anything.
The main plot
Yeah,
is
it's not
gay.
Yeah, none of the main plot is gay. But it does a really nice job of making that a core part of some of the characters, just not in a very obtrusive way. It's just
It's
very-
striking a fine balance to making them invisible and then making them like not
I wouldn't even say invisible.
obtrusive.
Obtrusive.
That's the
Mhm.
word you used. It's striking that balance between those two
Mhm.
things.
Yeah, because like none of the typical terms you'd hear in like you never have like a coming out scene in the Owl House. It's just like in a lot of media they'll be like, "Hey, guess what? I'm gay," or stuff like that. But in the Owl House, it's just no one like bats an eye. Like there's a bit where the main character says, "Hey, I want to ask this girl out," and no one's like, "Oh, you're gay." It's just like, "Oh, okay, go for it."
Okay, right.
Yeah, it's like it's nicer to portray it in such a way because it's like that is like the main goal for like that's what we want is
Just the normalized
yeah
bit,
because
right?
like in a lot of media you see like a guy ask a girl out and no one bats an eye. Why is there that?
Why is it any different?
Why is it any different for queer people? Right? And that's why I love about that show so much is there's no it's very good at normalizing just that experience. Very good.
Yeah. So apparently, glowing recommendation from Jamie. The
Yes,
Owl
10 out of
House.
10 stars. 11 out of 20 out of 10 stars. Definitely watch the show.
Yeah, I was checking on reviews and it says a lot of people seem to agree with you. You got a 4.8 out of 5.
I disagree. 10 out of 5 for me. 10 out of 5. I'm very disappointed it's only 3 seasons, though. And the third season's only going to be like 3 episodes. Very devastating, but regardless. It's a great show, and I wish we had more shows like it.
Yeah, it's certainly something to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I can't give a recommendation. But glowing recommendation from Jamie, as always. Didn't you say you have a story for us about?
I have a slight story. I'll throw it in here. It's an interesting one. I wonder if I'm legally allowed to. I think I am.
Maybe.
I am.
Are there any
There's-
crimes involved?
No, not from me. Not from me.
Ooh,
Not
not
your
from
crime.
you.
Not from me.
I mean, I told the Adventures of Weed Man, so it.
Exactly.
Listen, what's the statute of limitation on murder?
This is not about murder.
No.
Hey,
Dad. What's the statute of limitation on murder? 20 years.
there is none.
Oh, there is none.
Okay.
Okay, but no, I do have an interesting story. So it was like September 2nd was actually I won't cut the date. I don't want to dox my dad's birthday. Oh,
This is great. This is great. We're already
Oh,
not.
oh wait, wait, listen. Your dad was at 408 Negro Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
anyway,
Got all that from his birthday, man. Listen.
regardless,
Hey, as a cybersecurity major, birthdays are powerful.
exactly.
Hey, that's the one of two factors that most banks ask you when you're on the phone.
Yeah. So
You're 50% of the way there.
So it was my dad's birthday, and we're going out to local grocery store. He wanted to pick up chicken for his birthday, so we went to the store, pick up chicken. And we're driving along, and I'm turning in, like, I'm at the red light. I turn in to store, and I see a cop behind me. I'm like, oh boy, I wonder if he's here to see someone doing some crimes in the parking lot or whatever.
It's an officer of the law.
Officer of the law. So I turn, and he turns to follow me. And I turn because of how the parking lot is, like I'm at the red light, like you have to turn into the parking lane. So I turn, and the cop follows. He turns his lights on, and I'm like, I wonder if he's here for me. And then he does the woo woo sound that cop cars do. I'm like, yep, he's here for me. So I pull over into the parking lot. I roll down my window and say something like, "Hey, officer, what's the problem?" or something like that. I don't know. And he says, "Do you have your license on you, sir?" I'm like, I have my permit. My dad has his license. My dad's passport.
Right.
So we give him like all our information.
All kosher.
Yeah, all kosher. And then he looks at it and he says, sir, he looks at my dad and he says, "Sir, are you this kid's dad?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Come with me to the back of the car." And I'm like, uh-oh. Uh-oh, what happened? So they go out back and talk, and I'm overhearing barely anything, but they come back, and it turns out, so I drive a bright yellow PT Cruiser.
Right.
There has been a report of a bright yellow PT Cruiser going around stealing people's catalytic converters from their cars.
Oh, again?
Again.
Someone who had just happened to be driving a bright yellow PT Cruiser. Exactly, that's what the cop said. There's not many of those. He saw my bright yellow PT Cruiser and said, "That's the one." So we got pulled over for being suspected of stealing people's catalytic converters.
Now, there was a case of someone stealing catalytic converters last year in this local area.
That was exactly what the cop said.
75 saw blades. 2 bags of heroin. A whole child.
There was no... You know what, just to keep it anonymous, there was a child there.
They're going to be like, "Dang, I never heard of this case." And we're all going to go to jail.
Anyway,
But yeah,
so it's funny because now that's twice. Do you think this one was to feed their heroin addiction again?
perhaps.
Probably. Catalytic converters are so much easier to steal and like just get rid of than people think. Like you'd be thinking like scrapyards would be like, "Oh, did you like take your ID?" And well, they do take your ID, but like,
Yeah, how do you trace that?
yeah.
Right. But regardless, so my dad and the officer he calls him back up, and now there's a few cop cars gathered. Like, oh, we got him.
Yeah, we got
we
the
but-
catalytic converter thief.
But then they talk it out, and he's like, "Oh, we don't got him.
We don't got him."
So they let us go. He's like, "Happy birthday, sir," he says to my dad. Saw that on his license. So we go in, we get the chicken. But regardless, got pulled over by the cops on suspicion of having stolen catalytic converter.
Yeah. No 75 saw blades present.
No.
No multiple bags of heroin.
No, not for me. No.
Would you like a whole child?
No, absolutely not. In this economy, are you kidding me?
Children cost money.
Exactly. But yeah, that's my interesting story. The first time I've ever been pulled over by a cop.
My first time getting pulled over was the other day. We're going 65 and a 60.
That's pretty.
That's silly.
Meanwhile, I was being passed by like Suburbans and shit going like 90.
It's because your car's orange, so it's faster.
I don't know, man. I would really think it's because the Suburban had government plates. So, you're allowed to break the law.
Apparently.
Go felony speed.
Apparently. All right.
What
Do
time are we at?
we have questions?
I don't.
I do.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Well, I forgot.
Of course you
How?
forgot.
I thought you just said you had one.
Yeah, I remember I had one, but I didn't know that. I didn't know what it was.
Wow, for once, none of us have a question.
It's okay.
Wait.
I'll have one in a second.
Well, what time are we at?
We're at 45 minutes, but
Does anyone want to learn about thermoionic cannons?
Kind of.
that sounds kind of crazy. We should do
Don't worry, I know nothing about them.
that. What do you know?
I thought you were going to teach the class.
I thought you were teaching us.
No, I'm asking, does anyone want to learn about
Well, I thought you would know.
them? Absolutely not.
Okay, well, I won't.
In that case, I'll have to reschedule.
Yeah. I'll have to learn about thermodynamic cannons before I learn about thermodynamic cannons first.
Thermodynamic.
Well, I wasn't listening.
Well,
That's a long word.
Is Aiden looking them up? He's just looking up thermonionic.
Yeah, this is my other brother, Aiden. This show is falling apart,
Let's say
frankly,
we
but I
al-
think it's really
We
fun.
almost had him on once. Almost.
Oh yeah, and then the recording got corrupted. I wouldn't be surprised if my server shuts down and then this recording gets corrupted.
That'd be
But
fun.
anyway, so I have a question now.
What's your question?
What's caused you to feel nostalgic recently?
Ooh, that's a good question. Nostalgic. I'm gonna have to think on that one.
I went out to the dumpsters yesterday. It reminded me of my true home.
That was a very good answer.
Okay, well, I do have an answer to my own question.
You can go first while I think of mine.
I was playing Magic: The Gathering Arena,
Okay.
and I scrolled down to like the bottom of my deck list, and I was playing Historic. I was like, "This I haven't played this deck. It was just called Red White,
Red.
and it's like a bunch of cards that I haven't played with in a while." I was like, "Wow, that was really fun." I lost, but that was really fun because I got to play all the cards that I used to play back in the day. And back in the day when I first started Magic, like cards like Boshiro Pyromancer and Boshiro Pyromancer. I can't remember the what's the other card that Pacify? Pacify is a card that still gets used, but Boshiro Pyromancer does not. Yeah, that one, because I don't believe there's a reprint of Boshiro Pyromancer. I think the last one they printed was Magic 19. So I don't think he's in standard.
Oh. Okay. Which one?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
what
there's
one.
a magic.
Yeah, there's a Magic
Store
store.
dedicated to Magic the Gathering.
No, well, there is that store that we can go to. I don't know if it's open right now.
What time
It's a
is it?
it's a local store, but there's also another one, low ways, or it's a used bookstore.
Cool.
Yeah, well, we'll
Like
see.
getting kicked out of the. I was gonna say Neutrogena. It's Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
That was fun. So
We're
let me-
telling that story.
Okay, so we were at a mall, and in the mall there was a Barnes and Noble, and the stairway was out,
The escalator.
the escalator.
And my buddy decides to run up the not operable escalator because it's typically, I think that one's typically the down escalator.
Yeah,
And
he
decides
ran
to
up
run
the
up
down
it.
escalator.
He trips, his shoe falls off, and the security comes and is like, "Nope, you're done. You're out. Go."
that was fun to watch because
You weren't there.
well,
weren't there when
fun
it
to hear
happened.
about.
Okay.
But it was funny because like I show up and y'all are like, we got kicked out of Barnes and
No,
Noble.
he got kicked out of Barnes and Noble. But yeah, that was an interesting trip. Oh,
That was fun.
yeah.
Yeah, that was like the last one before everyone went away to college.
Yeah, it was a good trip.
I liked that trip.
Um,
Nostalgia. There you
I
go.
actually do have one. I did think of an answer. Last night, I was looking through one of my old sketchbooks, and I looked at some air quotes art pieces
Art.
that I had made like earlier this year in like late 2021. And I was like, oh, I remember like what I was doing this time period, like I say what I was doing, not like I was ever doing much, but like I remember like the era, like when I was making those pieces, and I was like, oh, I remember like drawing this character. I remember what I was doing on that day, and that was the closest. That was like the latest moment I've had, like on
Latest
nostalgia.
moment of nostalgia.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I couldn't tell you anyone before then, but that one, like, that was yesterday. And I was through the sketchbook. I'm like, oh, I remember these. Yeah, simple answer from me.
So, Rylan,
Mhm.
any nostalgia
Nostalgia.
you felt recently?
Not
A-
really.
Anything that makes you feel like you're living in the good old days?
There was Mr. Brightside on the radio the other day.
Mr. Brightside. I mean, that's not crazy. Oh, here's something that'll make you feel old. The album that Radioactive was released on, by Imagine Dragons. What's the name of that album now? Now I'm looking it up. But it's 10 years old.
Whoa,
It was made in 2012.
Whoa.
that is crazy.
Yeah, Night Visions came
That's
out
the
10
name of the
years
album?
ago.
That is crazy.
And they actually made a Night Visions expanded edition this year.
Oh,
Expanded edition, super deluxe, whatever. There's a lot of songs on here, and a lot of remixes of different songs that you can listen to. Personally, I'm not too much of a fan of remixes in general, but I don't I like Night Visions. Night Visions was a good album. I don't love Imagine Dragons, but like they're all right. It's
it's
just not
decent
really.
music.
It's not always my
Yeah,
style.
they used to be my favorite band, but nowadays, like, yeah, it's good music.
Yeah.
I'm currently looking at Icebreaker questions.
Right now, I'm looking at the Imagine Dragons discography.
Ooh, fun.
Fun. So the Imagine Dragons discography, apparently the first song, at least on Spotify here, is just called Imagine Dragons EP. It's the first album, 2009. I've never heard these songs. I Need a Minute, Uptight, Cover Up, Cursed, Drive, Hole Inside Our Chests. I don't know if any of y'all have
No,
heard those.
no, I've not heard of.
But yeah, Night Visions was released 10 years ago.
That is really crazy.
Did
That's
that
a good
just make you
summation of
upset?
that.
Yeah. I'm tired. Ugh. All my bones.
All your bones?
All of them.
All of them.
Made all of your bones tired, every single one of them.
Arthritis City, baby.
Do you have a question for us?
Who, me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still looking.
I already asked a question.
What kind of question did you ask? I don't remember.
You don't remember? It was about the recreating painting.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I guess that doesn't really count as I have a question, not in the spirit, but I guess it's a question.
Would you rather be crushed by a Jeep Gladiator or a Toyota Prius?
Well, the
Which
Toyota
one's heavier?
Gladiator.
That one. Make it quick.
Actually, he died from his from his injuries in the hospital.
The Prius.
Ah, good answer.
I mean, my money's on the Prius if we're talking survival here. It's just a less heavy car.
True.
And also, do they have manual Priuses?
No.
Yeah, so that couldn't
Imagine a
happen.
manual hybrid. That would be just hell to drive. That would be terrible.
It would be.
You'd just be like, oh, new engine every 5 miles.
Right. Whoops, the clutch dropped out again because the electric motor decided to start working. That's great. The manual hybrid is... That reminds me. So the Scion XB actually has a conversion kit that you can buy to make it electric. I think it changes out the gearbox, but wouldn't it be funny if you took a manual XB?
I'm not gonna lie, the 2-liter AZFE engine is such a piece of crap. You might as well just do it.
Even though it's like $50,000.
People trick their XBs.
I mean, when I had an XB, I wanted to, but I'm also poor. I didn't want to get the electric because we don't really live in a place. There are electric charge stations, but they're either in inconvenient places. Like I have to go a little bit of a distance to charge it. So that would be quite the issue there.
None of these icebreaker questions are any good.
Do we
Number
want
9.
What is number 9 on this list? No, that's a dumb one.
What is it?
It was your perfect 3-course meal.
Number 9. What is your perfect 3-course meal? Answer
Really?
correctly.
I mean, I feel like I could answer that.
You get to
I
win
couldn't.
this
This is a
bottle
silly answer.
of Evian water that's been half drank.
That was your course one.
It has all the spit particles you could ever want.
That one's not terrible. I do have a question, actually. I found one that's tolerable.
Okay, do we have a question?
I do have a question.
What is your question?
What is the most disgusting food you have ever tasted?
A burnt bean off of the stove.
Vegetarian MRE.
Vegan MREs are pretty bad.
Nothing beats, though, thinking it's a chocolate chip and then popping it into your mouth as a burnt bean.
Oh, I hate that idea. Ooh.
Because it's just so shocking. Like, you're like, oh, that's a chocolate chip. And it's so shocking that you're, like, revolted by it.
It's like the taste equivalent of picking up an object when you think it's really heavy and then
Right.
I've had that where it's like, oh, this is X food. Taste it. Why is that not X food? And you can't quite place what it is because your expectation is still that it's this.
Right.
I've definitely had that with like drinks and stuff.
Such a jolting reaction.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that way when you ever just drink something with so much sugar in it and it just hurts.
Like how you poured like 8 ounces of grenadine
Okay.
into a little bit of ginger ale.
It was late. All right, I was tired. And I was like,
You
we have
used
some
half
grenadine.
the
I have some
bottle.
ginger ale. I didn't put alcohol in it. I don't drink.
Renee, everyone should know what a Shirley Temple is. If they don't, like, and they accuse
I-
you of drinking alcohol, they can just go die in a hole. Really.
Like I just like, oh look, some ginger. There's a little bit of ginger ale left. We have some grenadine. I'm gonna make a Shirley Temple, and I made a Shirley Temple, and I just kind of eyeballed the grenadine, and it was grenadine with a side of ginger ale. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever had a drink with too much sugar. I love sugary drinks. Like, I will take give me any drink that you think has a lot of sugar in it. I will dump the rest of the sugar
I'll
in it.
be right back.
Are you going to grab the grenadine?
Just give them straight
He's going to test my
No, like,
my
give
claim.
him straight simple syrup, Rylan.
Scared. While he's doing that, I need to think about the most disgusting food I've ever had. I've historically been a very
I
picky
mean, I'll
eater.
tell you mine.
What's yours?
I had for Boy Scouts, there's this place called Florida Sea Base,
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
and you go to Florida, and you go to this island, and you make your own food, all that mess. And they do have food for you, like, and it's all in a box, and you get the food out of the box. However, that's all the food you get. They're not giving you any more. So if you dropped it on the floor, you're not getting more.
Physically can't go and get more.
Yeah, it's not possible. So you're gonna eat it
Mhm.
because it may be in some sand, but you're going to eat it.
Or sand blows you.
Or sand gets in your food somehow, but you're going to eat it. And we called it island seasoning. Lovingly. And because we're the most clumsy people in the universe, of course, we had a lot of island seasoning in our food. So yeah, that just as like a group, that was probably like the worst food I had, but it's also kind of the best because like
Well, James was also
we had a good chef,
great. No.
but I mean a horrible chef. But we also kind of loved it because that was all the food. We didn't really have a choice. And then also, of course, there was the day where we wild caught tuna,
Ooh.
and that was great. Because I don't know if you wild caught tuna before,
No.
but first of all, you're getting a tuna, and that's quite the fight. Yeah, it's quite the fight to get some tuna. And once you get that, I'm not gonna say it's the fightiest fish in the world, but you're deep sea fishing, like you put some work in. You put some sort of work in. Arguing with my brother over here, who's an actual fisherman, he hasn't probably fished since that trip. Yeah. It's been 6 years. Well, I wouldn't do that. Have you? And it didn't snap.
He didn't snap then. He snapped 2 months later on a 1 pound bass. That's another story.
Okay, so Rylan has brought back a liquid.
Explain liquid. Actually, don't explain liquid.
Don't
Do
explain
you want
it.
me to test
I
it?
want you to tell me the flavors, and I'll
Is it
tell you
well
what's in
mixed?
it.
Is there anything needs mixed?
No, it's all syrup. It's,
Okay. It's just syrup?
it's all different kind of.
Okay. Taste test. See, the thing is, I do like that.
What do you taste?
Like your typical like you ever go to the fair and like they have like that syrup that you put in like ice and stuff. It tastes like a bunch of those. It's got like it tastes
Like the syrup you put on the snow cones?
yes, it tastes like that.
I'm making a jar jar.
Just if you mixed it all
I
together.
got jarred it. I got
All right, listen. It's 1 part grenadine,
Okay.
1 part lime cordial, which is
I don't
super
taste.
tart.
I don't taste lime.
2, and I'll tell you why in a second. 2 parts simple syrup
Why?
and 1 part blue curacao syrup, which is orange.
I don't taste any of those flavors.
You just taste sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's straight sugar. It tastes good. It tingles in the back of the throat. I'm gonna get a sugar rush off of it.
That
I like it.
actually might be good.
You like that?
I do like it, genuinely.
I would-
Okay, so
I don't
here's
like the
deal.
smell. I'll give it that. I don't like the smell of it. And every sip gets more tingly in the back of the throat.
Yeah.
But
Do you need like it's the kind of feeling? Oh my god, he drank the whole thing.
yeah, I finished that.
Guys,
Give me some
Okay.
more, please. No,
So,
kidding.
so what we understand here is that has like probably at least 50 grams of sugar just in that.
Let me show you how much that covered up the lime cordial.
That was
Now he's making another one.
that tasted like. I'm trying to.
Okay.
What would I compare that to? That's.
It's syrup. It's
just straight up
it's
syrup.
It's sugar syrup. and
It's
flavor.
just syrup.
That is an irresponsible amount of sugar there.
How are they
Yeah.
still alive?
Just to show you how much that covered up the lime cordial, here is probably
Is that
about an
just
ounce and a half
lime
of lime
cordial?
cordial.
I need a palate cleanser.
Here's some Evian water.
Thanks. Attempt the waterfall.
Is that good?
Yeah, thanks.
Got rid of all the sugars.
Yes.
All right, just to
All
show
right,
you.
lime cordial. Whoa. Whoa, yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Ooh, that one's tangy. Ooh, it's tingling here.
Yeah.
Here.
Not taste that.
I'm finishing it though.
Oh my god.
Okay, so the
That
title.
has sugar in it, by the way. It is considered sweetened lime juice.
That is literally
Oh.
all it is.
You want some water?
Okay, so we are. I don't know if we're going overtime. I don't know what you want to call this. I think this is fully devolved, and I think we should just stop while we're ahead. Thank you all for listening to the Lads podcast. This has been Jamie drinking syrup
Yup.
and talking about some interesting stuff with AI. I really hope you enjoyed. We're kind of all over the place here. If you did, leave a like. Sharing would be especially important, especially at the. You okay over
I'm
there?
good. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. No, the lime cordial is hitting a lot stronger than
That's
that.
what I mean.
Yeah.
So, I hope you enjoyed. Leaving a like, sharing is especially important, especially as we're just a smaller show.
Yeah,
here.
one like equals $1 to my medical bills. After that.
after you
After that.
become hospitalized
Yeah.
from a
Don't need
sugar
cardiac
overdose.
arrest.
I am keeping my trauma kit at the ready.
You're trying to get.
Or trauma kit, whatever. me trauma kit suit out.
Me need trauma kit.
I can't talk.
Me need trauma kit.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day wherever you are. And farewell.